Why, hello everybody. So today welcome to another The Author, and today we'll be talking about this piece right here. This piece is basically a appreciation piece to my best friend in the world for being a great person and helping me out and making me a better person. Basically, I'm 31, and I basically wanted to do something like best friend in 30 years kind of thing. So decided to make a piece for him. And at first I was going to go with the Warhammer Ogres miniature and all that, but then I remember something I said, and that I also saw this piece in the miniature shop, and I remember saying to him before that he is a larger individual, yes, but basically but still the ladies seem to like him a lot, and that's because, of course, on top of the fact that he's a professor and smart and very likable, is that also I say he's always like a big teddy bear. So I decided to get this piece as a representation. And also along the way I found this little piece here. There's this Chihuahua zombie from Malifaux, and thought, I like dogs and everything, so why not make a piece with him and me in it, best friend 30 years kind of thing. So something to note is that I feel that he is my best friend, but that doesn't mean that I feel that I'm his best friend. I don't feel it should correlate, just what it is. So I decided to make this piece, and this piece is called Crossing the Road, with Big Buddy Ian. This is what the character is called, and Bin Dog. Bin being me, short form for my Chinese name, Bin. So Bin Dog. So this piece is called Crossing the Road because every time he comes back to Singapore, we always do have this situation, not really a situation, just normal, that we'll be standing at a traffic light, and then the light will go green, and I will take a step forward first, and then I will turn my head because he will stand, then he starts moving. I don't know, this happened the last time he was in Singapore, and in a very short few moments it just stuck in my head, so I decided to do the piece again like that. Like you can see that we're standing on the concrete and the pavement road stuff, and then the road right here, so this is crossing the road. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the how I painted it and the theme. Okay, so the theme is about crossing the road, and it's more of a horror piece, as you can see, using the Malifaux miniatures. And the way I painted it is basically I started everything with a base coat black because I wanted a deep shading, and then after that I went through it with a brown. Now, and then you might think it's not the case, but actually the base coat for yellow is actually brown. A good one is always brown. I learned this from Girl Painting. I'll put a link below. And that's because what happens is that if you were to try this, in that it shouldn't be a very dark or overpowering brown. It should be a brown but in a lighter coat. Add a bit of water or something like that, so that the yellow can stick out. That if you can try this with gold, if you paint a brown first, a black, then a brown, and then a gold, somehow the gold just seems, or anything like a yellowish color would be just bring it out so much more than if you would just go black and then brown. Black and then gold or yellow. And I learned this from Girl Painting, and credit where it's due, and I've been using it ever since, and I think the results show. Okay, so I started with a base coat black, then I did light brown, a brown but with watered down. Then I painted sunburst yellow, and then I used a yellow wash. At this point, the important point is I used the yellow wash, but I didn't pool it. I didn't make it like it had to cover almost tint everything fully yellow. I just wanted a coat, so it's just one coat as it is, not watered down. But yet you can still see the brown in the furs and all that. If you really look in, then that gives you that dirty teddy bear look, because you can still see somewhat the brown if you in between the furs and all. Again, if I move this closer and all, it just won't focus. So that picture's below if you want to look. Alright, so after that I did and here's the thing, and this piece took me 2-3 days to do because all these furs here are all individually highlighted. They weren't dry brushed, so it took quite a while. So I did, after that, after the shade, I did the sunburst yellow again, the base one, individually highlight, and leaving the brown and tinted yellow by itself. Then I added another highlight of sunburst yellow and bleach bone, and then after that sunburst yellow, bleach bone, and a bit of white, and then fully sunburst yellow and white, and then a very light touches of white all around, like very light, you know, there's a very dab at the edges, that kind of thing, but not that much. So as you can see, it's a lot of highlights coming out. I did quite a few highlights with this. Alright, and that's how I got that this fur, so-called dirty fur kind of look. And then after that, for the bones and the teeth and everything, I started with a brown, going up to a bleach bone, to a white, but yet everything went movement like that, you know, because I want, if you look again, I can't really move the model, if you can see that the back here, that you can still see the brown, and it slowly moves out to a bleach bone and then coming out to a white. So I feel that just looks more natural if you look at real bones and all. So I did that. And then the gums, I wanted a very exaggerated lip, so this one I really went fully red first, then red wash, then after that pink, then a very light red, watered down red wash in between, and then the pink I use it pure pink, and a very white, and a white to make a very strong highlight, you know, like you can really see the big difference between the last highlight and the in between shading, because I just wanted to bring the model's focus towards the mouth. Alright, so I think that really helped with this model, because the focus had to come here. And for the eyes, as you can see that the black around it, that's actually the base coat. I decided to make sure that you can see the black around the eye, because like I say, you want to have that focus that comes in there, but you can still see the small highlights of the fur and all. It's just like, you know, in real life the model is like the darkness in the eyes, and the eyes were highlighted from black to brown to built up to a yellow, a base yellow, then after built up to a red, and then to a white. So it's like literally going from brown going up to, well, okay, I just go through the process. So it's brown, black to a brown, then after the yellow, then built it up to the same color as the fur. Then after painting it red wash, and then red and sunburst yellow, making it orange, and built that up to a white. So it's, the eyes itself took several layers, and all this is always somewhat watered down paint, because when you're doing a one-piece model, you don't want to make paints too thick that covers the details. Alright, so then there's this part, and what this actually represents here is the decals. I'll talk about that at the end. And I actually, this part here, you might imagine, if you are a Malifaux owner, this here is not in the model actually, but it came like this because this is the metal piece, and it just stuck. Then I decided not to clip it away because I thought it's so cool, you know, it's like something fell in his head, and then I thought blood would come out. And the blood is actually from the Tamiya. It's like this, it represents blood. It's almost like a thick goo, and I decided to just water it down a bit and let it pool. So you can see at the top is really reddish, and of course I highlighted that too. I mean, highlighted in a way that I watered down more. So as you go down, so like you see it gets lighter and lighter till the part it reaches here. Alright, and yeah, so that's for Big Buddy Ian. And then over here you got Bin Dog. Alright, now let me just move that with my lazy Susan. Alright, he actually was a piece which took quite a while because I wanted to get an embalmed skin color, and like the bone, I don't know whether you can see the bone, I needed just the fade, that shading is still there. Same thing, I painted it just like the teeth and the bones everywhere, but because it's a skull, you wanted to leave the shading on some of the cranium. The eyes painted same as that. And for the skin actually is a bit tricky because it was built up from a black to a brown to a flesh tone mixed with a yellow and brown wash. That's the shading. and then from that you built it up with a flesh wash with a bit of brown in it, and you built it up from a flesh wash to almost to with a white, but that part's really watered down just to give the slight highlight, the last slight highlight. And for the flesh here, it's very different. For this one, you see it's very pronounced. This one I wanted to give elements like a, how you say, a crypt, like he's been embalmed, you know, it's like kept, the skin is, the meat has been kept in that state. So instead of this one, I used less of the red wash in a way, and I just didn't build the last highlight so bright. So that's how I did that. And so I'll give this a spin. Alright, so and there you go. Yes, and there you go. The 331 is actually representative for letters, so it's Big Buddy Ian, so it's BBI. So just thought that would be cool. I had the thing, and I thought I'll just add that. So it's like code. And just to explain also the representations of, he's a religious man, he's a Christian, and so I put the Holy Grail symbol there and the wings, and of course the last one is the key being that he's always been honest, and he opened doors for people by being honest and helping them move forward. So there you go, that's the representation there. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's see, that's what this model is all about. That's how I painted it and its theme. And I think this is probably the I only painted a few models for people in my life. One, well, I guess I'll tell that next time in some other stories. But to give a list, it will probably be like, the first one is probably a Elda model I painted up for a girl. The second is for the same girl years later I met her. It's a knight model diorama. And the one in between will probably be a goblin miniature, mechanics miniature, which for the guy who really saved my ass in a technical workshop when I gave up myself. He taught me the lesson, you know, also taught me an important lesson that if a person wants to do something, let them do it. If not, why suffer? Anyway, but so this is the latest one. Yeah, this is probably the fourth model I painted for someone in my life. Totally happy with it. Just wanted to share it with you and just how to paint it and all. And for the last point is actually there was a jingle I made for this song, because you know, like a teddy bear song is, and just to share it, and also for my own memory, it goes like, Big Buddy Ian, Big Buddy Ian, there's no better buddy than him. So there you go. So till next word, enjoy.